is a short translation of the song that she has just sung. The first song that she sang was Song of Festival. Those who are staying outside, come, line up like ants to the beating of drums to return to your native village.
Song of Appreciation. Kadiri bawang salam harba piwe. Kadiri nani hin tiwang. Bawang zesima lagi nang harba pine. Bawang tirai loye. Inki charawang na tize kadiri din jalage.
Song of Appreciation. Who is the king of this world? You are majestic. Let it be known to the world that you are the King of Kings. She just mentioned that this is a song that the family or the community sings to a daughter who is getting married. It says, "Who said that we have to say farewell today? Bring the mithun for merrymaking, for we have to say farewell in a short time." Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tasile. And now we have Marin Imchin, animator and illustrator, showcasing his animation film Nok Poklipa.
This is the story about Nukpoklima, a Naga mystic who saved his people from the treachery of an evil merchant using his magical powers.
Papa, here they come.
Fine. You know what to do, don't you?
Yes.
So you've come. Here's your cow.
What a strong, healthy cow we've acquired.
I know. There are others who turn green with envy when they see it.
Time to come home, my son.
What cow has turned into a dog?
Get the dog, get the dog. Come, let's go tell everyone in the village.
So they told the villagers about what had happened. Just then,
My cow turned into a cat and ran away.
Hey, me too. Mine turned into a fox. Strange. What could be happening here?
I'll tell you, the only one who can help you is Nupokliba.
But isn't he just a myth? Or man?
Yes, nobody has seen him, but it is said that Nupokliba appears when his help is needed. Seek him in the highest mountain that overlooks our village. You will find him there.
No.
Come in, come in. I know why you are here. Look, see for yourself. The villagers are being cheated by the merchant through the powerful magic of transformation. Through this magic, he transforms his son into cows, which he trades with the villagers. Do not be disheartened. I will bring back the cows which rightfully belong to you.
so Nupokliba gathered some dried leaves and turned them into cotton, using his magic. And he left the next day to trade with the merchant. Nupokliba exchanged the cotton with the merchant's cow and headed back to the village. The merchant realized that someone with supernatural powers had tricked him. So he turned his son into a deer. And Nupokliba, expecting this to happen, turned himself into a dog. Finally, to save his son from the dog, the merchant changed him into 3 grains of rice. Nupokliba in turn transformed into a dove and ate 2 of the 3 grains of rice. As a result, the merchant's powers were weakened.
My son, this is all my fault. Forgive me.
The angry merchant turned himself into a hawk, and the final battle had begun. In the end, the merchant's spell was broken and the Nagas got all their cows back.
Hey!
Ila ai ngota kula, ila ai ngota kula, no am na loiri, mori ani na lawayo, asang karai se, zani karai la, anu mama tata, karapandang ko ikirono. Motsakirono Majalila Tangatoma.
Oh, what a treat. And now I invite Mr. Mern Imchin to say a few words.
Hello everyone, my name is Mern Chin, and I'd like to thank everyone who's attending this function today, and also a big thank you to the organizers for inviting me. And just a little bit about myself. I did my schooling in Kohima, and during my childhood, I studied here till class 6. Then I moved to south of India, to Kodi International School, where I did my 11th and 12th. And after that, for my college, I went to the National Institute of Design in Ahmedabad, which was for about 4.5-year course. And since then, since I passed out from NID, I've been working professionally in Mumbai for about 13 years. And in 2015, for me wanting to keep up with the technology and the trends, in terms of my profession, I decided to go to the UK to do a master's degree from Bournemouth University in UK. And now my current place of work is in Kohima, and I shifted there about last year, and I've been working from home since then. And the film that you saw, Nokok Liba, this film was actually an inspiration that I got when I was doing my dissertation paper in NID, when I came across J.P. Mill's book, The Owl Nagas. And some of the folk tales that he has documented really fascinated me. So this was one of the stories. So I really got inspired to make a film on this. And I made a proposal to the Children's Film Society of India. And fortunately, they were very forthcoming, and they decided to sponsor my film. And the film is, as you all saw, it's a simple tale about good versus evil. And I always thought documenting the stories in the digital format can be made more accessible to especially younger audience. Because how many people would go read a J.P. Mill's book, right? So that was one of my goals. And the production, I handled everything entirely. It was a very tedious task, and it took me about 2.5 years to make this film. And starting from the inception to the storyboarding to the design and the whole production. And fortunately, I had a brother-in-law who is a musician, so we collaborated together. So some of the music stock that you hear, the sound, we actually came and recorded live during the Hornbill Festival. That was in the year 2004. And fortunately, this film went to win an award, also the National Film Award, the 54th National Film Award, for Best Animation and Direction. Now, moving on, so I'm just going to give you a brief overview of some of the key projects pertaining to Naga culture. So the second one was this Auk and I, which was another Naga folk tale. And this was part of my final student diploma project. And I was fortunate enough, as you can see here, Mr. Ram Mohan, he's known as the pioneer of animation in India. He trained under Disney, Walt Disney, and then in San Francisco, and then he came and set up an animation studio here in India. So I was privileged enough to get him as my mentor and as my sponsor to make this second film. And this film luckily got selected at NSA Animation Film Festival in France and Zagreb International Film Festival in Croatia. So again, it's a very simple story about a pig and a dog. And moving on into now my illustration projects. So I came across through Ram Mohan again, this fairly new publishing house that was just emerging called Tulika Publishers, and they were looking out for indigenous stories. So now this current book is now translated into 4 different languages. I think Telugu, Hindi, Kannada, and I forget one more. And I feel like things like this could be like an opportunity for our stories, our indigenous stories, to be locally exposed as well, and not just confined to the state. So because we have got very good reviews with this book, because it's something that, it's a simple story. It's about how the sun rises when the rooster crows. So it's like something that children can also relate with. And so this was about like a few years back. I had a pet project. Every time I used to come to Nagaland, because I stayed most of my time outside, so I always used to see this person with this pig on the road, you know. So and I felt it. I found it quite amusing, and also I felt that there was a story. So during my free time, I used to sketch, and I had kept this concept in the burner for a long time. So when Indian Quarterly magazine approached me to do a 6-pager piece, so me and my writer friend, whom I collaborated with on this project, we decided to do on the love pig. So it's just a simple observational story, and we weaved it out into a story about the relationship between the master and the pig, and how he goes to sow his seeds. So that was one, and in the year 2021, during the COVID time, since 2019 actually, starting at the peak of COVID, I decided it was a good opportunity for me to move away from my usual digital medium of animation and do something more, like a basic, more basic in terms of traditional kind of an art. So I decided to, though I could not include all the 16 tribes, I ended up making 11 tribes, trying to depict the Naga people and the culture and the costumes. As we are all aware that all indigenous tribal society have always practiced the art of oral tradition through storytelling. Somehow I felt that none of these stories are being properly documented. And so this series was conceptualized to celebrate the diverse culture of Naga people. The series is a result of a few years of research during my time, which included travels and especially meeting the older generation who knew a lot of stories, and legends. The aim was to also capture the richness of the Naga people's traditional wear and paint images of the Naga way of life in all its authenticity. So, for example, we just I happened to see the whole talk on the Ao Naga shawl. So something similar to that, like I was always told about the story of man and tigers sharing the same spirit. So I was very inspired by that concept. So I decided to do something with that, where a man is seen completely relaxed in front of the tiger because they share the same soul. And this is a part of the second series, and where the man is walking away and the tiger walks away, but the shadow, the man retains the tail of the tiger in his shadow. So it's like kind of a metaphor that I was playing with. And now coming back to my professional work, like it's quite different from like the kind of projects that I've just shown you. I'm not going to go one by one, so I'll just leave you with a show reel so that you get an idea on the context or on the type of kind of work that I do professionally. So.
Can we please have the media team to assist Marin Imchin in this matter?
Sorry, a little bit of a technical issue. So can you break through foreigners? Because it's like it's fine. Okay. No, it's not. So really sorry for that thing. It's not online. Sorry about that. Like, is the mic on? Yeah, sorry about that. A little bit of a technical issue. So I won't be sharing the show reel. Thank you so much. That's the end.
Thank you, Marin Imchin. If our AV crews can do something about it, we'll try to feature the video that you were trying to play. We were all looking forward to it. Anyway, now we move on to Malona Wati Longchar, who is a creative consultant sharing her creation, My Awesome Dog. Please welcome Malona Wati Longchar.
Hello everyone. Thank you again to the Listener Festival and to the sponsors and partners for having us here today. For my presentation, I'm just going to give you a brief background to my work and also a quick snapshot to the creative process around my book. So I'll just start right away. Hello, I am Mulunawati Longjar. I am a storyteller. Over the years, my passion to tell stories have manifested in different forms and shapes. From being able to amplify incredible stories about this nation, to even creating a culture around the sports for the youth, to even curating a story of a loved niche motorcycling brand to the rest of the world, and even giving a unique voice and a visual language to India's coolest airline. With over 13 years of telling and creating stories for brands and companies, I know that stories matter. And it's not just one type of story or one narrative, but that many stories matter. And in this collective and intersectionality of stories coming together, our stories matter, especially stories that have our center of experiences in them. For example, in 2011, I got a chance to work on Shadows, a graphic collection of folktales from Nagaland with a group of Naga creatives, Aki, Lipok, and Nawang, commissioned by the Department of Art and Culture. These were beautifully illustrated stories from 7 different tribes. And in the process of us researching, compiling, verifying, interviewing people, this collaborative and collective project only reinforced the idea of being active agents in telling our own stories. And this also planted the seed of how it gave me the idea for my current project. So in 2019, after working in Delhi for more than 13 years, I came back to Nagaland, and being a mother to a 2-year-old then, I really started to think about how can I tell stories about our culture, and especially to my child, to teach her about how to pass it on in a way that will be engaging for her. But I knew that culture as an idea, as a concept, is very large and broad. So I decided I want to just choose a vertical or an area to focus on. So I decided, okay, let me start off with teaching my kid how. This is also something that I wanted to get myself familiarized with it, because I also grew up in a boarding school since I was the age of 7. So I thought this would be a great exercise for both me, myself, and also for my daughter. So, and the reason I chose Ao to teach her was that even before growing up, even before we can identify written text or read, we're able to naturally respond to sounds. So that is something I wanted to focus on. So with that, I said, okay, I want to teach my kid Ao, but how do I make it fun and also interesting and engaging? So then with these objectives and ideas, I started to think about it. And it helped me to shape and expand the idea, and which helped me to also self-publish my self-children's book, which was called My Awesome Dog. Now, the word of play, right, it sets up the book to be something lighthearted and fun, but at the same time, this word of play also is a method that reinforces the intent of the book, which is a focus on the owness of it. This book has also been translated and reprinted in Ao, and it's called Ke Ao Ternamjan Azza. And even if the title is different, because the language structure is different between English and Ao, the essence and the idea of the book still remains the same. So coming to this book, this book is about a dog who can speak Ao. A dog who will teach you new words and sounds in an awesome way. So the reason I kind of focus on sounds, especially, the sounds is something I played with in this book, is because sound is a tool that can help create like a sensory effect or vivid imagery when you read things or you engage with stuff. And sound also, if you use it in repetition, it becomes a tool to help kids be able to identify patterns and novel words and connect concepts, new concepts. So, and what I also realized was that we are very familiar with other linguistic sounds, zap, pop, buzz, kaboom, And I took some very obvious examples, and I'm sure many of you sitting here will be able to come up with your own examples of it. So I took the opportunity where I wanted to flip the script and make others get familiar with our sounds as a reference. So in the book, you will come across some of the R words are aya, rarar, arung, how, wong, and ayar. And when you read the book, you'll understand in what context these words and sounds have been used. So, using my, let me just do this. Using my branding and advertising background, I said, how do I bring these elements together? So I said, okay, I'm going to have a visual identity, a verbal, and a unique positioning or selling point. So for the visual identity, I introduced it in a purple, quirky little dog, which has its own charm, and making it, putting in context with humorous illustration of this dog helps the kids engage with it, because humor is also another tool to help engage people with new concepts or ideas that I've mentioned. And coming to the verbal identity, using our sounds in colorful fonts and infused it with the cultural elements of our culture. This also creates engaging, which is for the kids to be able to really have a sound hook, something that they can get hooked to and kind of practice and mimic. And what I've realized with this book is even if you don't speak the language, when you're able to interact and say those words, it creates a sort of association with it, even though you're not fluent now. And the last one was this, the way I positioned it was a dog who can speak, and in this case, this dog can speak out. And one of the reasons this happened was, since my kid was 2 years old, one of like a common global kind of a common language with kids was dog characters, whether it was Paw Patrol or Bluey. If some of you guys have kids, you guys will be able to identify these content characters that come up. So a dog, I realized, had like a global appeal to it. So this was just a snapshot of my background and my creative process with my work. So what started out as a playful story for my daughter turned into a book, and now I can even say a project, because now the more I kind of interact with other creators and the more I learned about our culture and the stories, I'm more excited about in what other ways can I maybe recapture, reinterpret, reimagine all the kind of the untold stories that we have in our culture. So this was just a quick snapshot, so thank you very much, and Kamapilar.
Thank you, Malona. We are so proud to have a book like this, especially for children. We don't see so many of that, especially from Nagaland. Now, to enrich our understanding and exploration, we have Dr. Lanusangla Sudhir, representing Heritage Publishing House, joining as our discussant. She will be joined by an illustrious panel, including Malona Wati Longchar, Dr. Tassile Ziliang, Tiamaran Iyer and Mern Imchen, promising an insightful and lively discussion. Please warmly welcome them on stage. We've also received some good news. We've managed to rectify the technical glitch that just happened during Mern Imchen's session. So now we will be playing his video.
ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 8th session of the Listener, a festival of orality. Since Thursday evening, we are really having an enriching session with the consciously curated themes and sessions, and I'm sure that all of us have grown richer in our thinking and even prouder of our roots. This afternoon, we are going to talk a little bit about reimagining oral tradition, which we have seen in parts from Molona, Meren Imchen, and Dr. Dasili. This morning in the first session, Dr. Umarani was talking about the intergenerational knowledge transmission. And this is what we have seen just now in the works of Mulunawati Longjar and Meren Imchen. And many times we feel that storytelling elders who were the custodians of the community, lords, played the role of indigenous knowledge transmitters across generations. And as the oral communities moves along with time, more so in the context of Nagaland, intervention becomes a necessity in order to keep the oral traditions alive. And thank you to Meren Imchen, Molona, Dr. Tasile, and even Tiaman Ayer for keeping the tradition alive. Because it's very rare to see parents telling stories to children without any visuals or without any technological interventions. And we hardly find families sitting around the fireplace telling stories like our forefathers. And thus, interventions that Molona and Meren Imchen has made, which they have creatively packaged so beautifully in order to get the attention of the young minds. Because I feel that in order to keep the oral tradition going, we need to appeal to the young minds so that they are strong in their roots. To start with, I would like all of us to think that we are all storytellers and memory keepers and knowledge keepers, because oral traditions is a responsibility of the individual as well as the community. And community like the listener, Nagaland, keeps the oral traditions alive. In order to start the discussion, I don't know with whom I should start, but maybe I should start with Meren. And we have seen just the animation film that Meren has shown, and not only that, he is an excellent graphic novelist and an illustrator, and come to think of it, working in different parts of India with different culture, with the big brands, but coming back here and giving back to the people, that's really appreciative. And we should really appreciate the effort that you're making. And seeing some of the works that you have shared with the audience today, we would like to know what inspires you and what inspires to take on the Naga stories, the folk tales, and to bring it to a bigger audience, not just in the written word, but in different formats.
I think for me, like a lot of inspiration has to do with like growing up. When I was growing up, like I was in Kohima. So Kohima has always been like a place of nostalgia for me. So, and then it was like that period when I was growing up, so like I used to hear a lot of stories that my mom used to narrate to me. And then also like regarding the film, it's always been in my mind like to actually preserve some of the stories like in a digital format. So like the stories don't get lost to start with, and then also like it's preserved and so that it becomes more accessible for younger generations. And maybe, I mean, like for example, like the Aukenai film, which I that I took the liberty, because I didn't say it is an our folk tale. I said it's an adaptation from a Naga folk tale. So like I changed the story a little bit. Like, forgive me, I took the creative license to do so, because in the Naga culture, I know it's especially folklores and all, like they're very stringent on like not to change it. But I also believe like certain stories can be made more meaningful in order to adjust with the going context. And I think as storytellers, and especially as being Naga, we can do that. So I took that liberty, and like I said, like it's an adaptation. But I feel like capturing the stories in a visual form is like one really good way for the younger generations to know about these folk tales.
Thank you. When I saw the presentation, I was really impressed to see that his comic book, right? That storybook that has been translated into many languages, and that's quite an awesome, intervention that even the publishing houses have made. Now moving on to Mulona, I know as a mother of young children how difficult it is to, communicate in our own language. And looking at a book, I must say that we can learn at least about 25 to 30 our words, and she has so creatively packaged it in such a way that a young child can learn it without the pressure of learning, his or her own mother tongue. So what I want you to share with us is that how do you take it further, in either in a book format or any other format that you are taking?
So, like I think you just said about the pressure in learning a new language, and I believe that sometimes, like for me, growing up away from, like since I was 7 years old, I can speak in Chumli, but Mongson is something that I still really struggle with, and I want to learn, but something just within the family, that's something I struggle with. And I know that a lot of kids, some are linguistically can pick up really fast, some can't, and I was one of those. And my child also, she can only speak like English right now predominantly, because it's not just because of, like obviously it's also us also, because I think we first speak in English, and then even the content that she watches, the accessibility of content is mostly in English also. And when I was trying to teach her in very like how I was taught, like through Bible verses or stories, I realized that engaging with her was really difficult, because it's not just about trying to teach her, but you're also kind of competing in a world where there's so much more interesting content for them. And it could be even a Telugu folk tale, it could even be a Korean, it could be a Japanese adaptation of their stories. So I started to think, how do I do it? And the reason I did first, I just simplified it and I did it in a book form, was at that age I didn't want her to get into screen time, because as I mentioned, she was 2 years old. But now as she grows older, I know that the book format, like even as Mern mentioned, the accessibility gets a bit limited with book, because it gets stuck, it gets kind of into how much do you print, what is the cost, what is the price, and there's a lot of logistics involved in it. So, and there's also a lot of, with the logistics of sending it abroad, also even look like internationally, but with the accessibility of digital media and intervention, it becomes very easy. And even like you mentioned, I think nowadays we don't have that time where we sit around the fireplace and stories are told. Whereas with say if his is on YouTube and Vimeo and other video platforms, it makes it very easy as a family to find time and sit and watch at your own time. Because trying to get everyone in this time where everyone works, like nowadays there's lots of 2-income household, both the father and the mother works, and even the grandparents are working, and it's just there's been a shift even in the family dynamics. So I think it's about, like she said, I think throughout this whole session, the last few days about documenting, archiving, recording, and how digitally it makes it more accessible. So moving forward, like some of the projects that I've been like talking and ideating with even other people, it's more the digital platform, because a book can have a lot of physical restrictions to it.
Thank you. Another question. Do you think that your book, My Awesome Book, Dog, can it be translated to other Naga languages?
Right now, I think, like I said, translate to Ao, but again, that was also quite a challenge because trying to find a wordplay, we realized we can't really do that in the Naga language just because the language structure is different. And just trying to get translated into Ao, also we had to figure the grammar, just a lot of words. And so I think going into another language, since I don't know like the structure of it, it might sound really good, and I would love to, but I think I would have to sit with someone who's maybe a Sema, Angami, or even other people and try to see. But it can be translated, but I think I'll be more excited in not like in trying to work with other languages or other individuals bringing in their new narratives and how they can maybe create a story in their own phonetics or around linguistic sounds. So I would love to, but I think I would love to see more from other people bringing from their sides.
Thank you. That was quite an insightful sharing, and I hope that the other communities would also come forward to work on such books. Now moving on, we have Dr. Tassili, who has sung 3 songs, and interestingly, she was carrying quite a thick book, which has songs and poems in her own language. So you have sang 3 poems, right, today? And do you think that you can, bring together your community and especially the younger people and make them understand the importance of the work that you have done, because it's the work for the community? And if we look back or if we look around, our stories are sung in songs, our stories are read in poems, our stories are told in poems, and so on and so forth. So how do you think especially young manuhana the importance of making the young people understand the value of it?
Thank you. I'll talk in Nagamis. Pahila to ekta folk tales story likise acham pero or namotun story na janile amakhan laga future laga bacha khan to eko amakhan laga khisa na jana hoi jabo aro amakhan laga story te folk tale te imani important ase aro word sabda khan bi bisi important amakhan bazar language no hoi kene grammar khan bi bisi important khan ase. Ito janibohi lage koi kana amai bi bisar kena ekta story likhise Ndaracham Satkhat means volume 1 inika aro picture bi likhise banaise picture kami drawing kami kurise aro bacha khan bisi interest ito kinika ase ki ase koi kana najana bacha kami aro amai to kumba jaga te bi jaile kumba jaga te bi jaile you can talk any language, but at least you should call your mother in your mother tongues. Ito advices them na today. Foreign kota ko bi English bi ko bola amma baba ni sila ko thapra ko bi ko kana ma to kunba jaga te bi to advice de to amay kan baki kan to baki kan ke to mami kiba kibi ko ru amay ke to apoy ni sila ka base anay anti ni ka ko ito kami bi important na sa ajikali la bacha kan kila mana amai kan dia bisi pura leka English fluently English ko manokani likha pura kana se jana ase ini ka se hoy jana manoi ko ase hoile me niche laga kahani na jani ne amai kan ko to price to na jana to pra folk tales is very important for the young generations, even for us also. Aro Ghana. To Ghana to Ghana jana manu khichra ase inika koi. Kila mana taikan meaning jane to. Pala jamana में तो गाना प्रा कुठा न कोई ले भी गाना प्रा है communications में हो जाए तो ये तो खान बेस important है सारो गाना मैं खान लगा क्या madam question होता ला point तो आही को मनो खान बिस्तारी ऐसे research करे ऐसे इतना festival आही को even our traditional गाना के ना कोई traditional dress भी ना थाकी जाए तो इतना folk song खान ना जाने ले ना हो वो कोई ने हिकी ऐसे और हम में हिकाई ऐसे even इतना मैं खान लगा जगह festival ऐसे थाकी से 30 or 31st है तो पौन बोस्ती का मैं first time तक खान जगह कोई वो कोई ने मैं खान होते तो poetry हम हिकाई दिसे और ताई खान गाना कोई के ने video बताए से मन खुशी भी पाए से तो folk song is very important और इतो है इतना young generation खान के unite एक ही लोटा एक मास्टर अनिबले एक ता प्लेटफॉर्म ऐसे इनका भावना ऐसे मनाता thank you.
Thank you. Do I need to explain that? Yeah, in short, what she's saying is that the importance of folklore in the story of community, in keeping the community. And one important point that she has mentioned is that no matter how many languages you can speak, you need to learn to speak in your mother tongue. Yeah. Thank you for being the storyteller and memory keeper of the Ziliang tribe. Now we have the most versatile, singer from Nagaland. I'm sure you all must have heard him since Thursday evening, and he is my favorite singer. I mean, our singer. Okay, we belong to the same community, and I've been, following his song. And even though I'm not a singer, I just sing in my heart, along with him. And he's one person who can sing a love song in such a way that it will just melt your heart. At the same time, the essence of his tradition and culture always, it always enhances his music. And as a composer also, he always makes sure that that essence is brought out. And he has sung about life, life in general, and he sings about love. He sings about even corruption, very blatant, you just can't deny what he sings. And he sings about the daily, life. For instance, like he sings a song about a cultivator, the Aluyumber. And in that song, he talks about the joy of being a cultivator, his daily life as a cultivator, the gratitude that he sings to God as a cultivator. So I've requested him to sing that song, even though if time permits, he can sing the whole song, but I would like to sing at least a stanza and a chorus, so that
Now?
Yeah, after that I'll get back to you.
Okay. Give me a stand.
I get up very early in the morning and get ready to go to the field. It talks about hard work, which was the essence of our society and which I hope still is. And one thing I would like to ask is what inspires to write or compose such kind of songs? And how do you think that you are also being a responsible citizen in order to keep the oral tradition going on with your songs?
First of all, thank you to all the organizers, especially Ma'am Santi, for having me here. Since at a very young age, I started to sing. And to be very honest, I'm not good in singing English songs. And that is the main reason behind me singing our songs. Especially people of my age, that time, they were mostly influenced by rock musics. And there came a time when our local songs were not loved or maybe were not listened to. So that was the reason behind me to sing our songs in a different way. That's the reason behind. Thank you.
He says that he can't sing well in English, but he sings better than Don Williams. You can try. Yeah, thank you, Tamarin, for the song as well as keeping the tradition alive through your songs. We still have about 5 minutes, 2 minutes. Okay, 2-3 minutes. So, is there anyone who would like to ask anything? Okay, I'm glad that we could, we are being able to wind up on time. So, I just want to leave you all with this thought. Oral tradition, I believe, is all about managing and nurturing the emotional, intellectual aspiration of a society. And may we all have the consciousness to listen to our stories and the passion to tell our stories before someone else starts telling our story. And may we all have the joy to sing our songs before someone else sing our songs. We need to continue in our journey of orality as responsible storytellers and memory keepers. Thank you all.
Thank you so much for the wonderful and refreshing session. I hope all your initiatives will be carried forward by us, and we only pray and hope that we will continue to encourage our children also to keep up with this oral tradition in preservation of our oral heritage, cultural heritage.